Alrighty guys, welcome back to another one. In today's video, we're doing another 28 gauge shell here. This time, it is the Winchester Super X high brass 28 gauge load. This is 2 3/4 inch, 1205 FPS, 1 ounce of 7.5 shot. Yeah, 1 ounce and 28 gauge of 7.5 shot. That's not bad at all. That is actually right on par with a Magnum 2 3/4 inch 20 gauge load, or standard 16 gauge, light 12 gauge. Yeah, it's competing with the bigger bores, that's for sure. I don't know why, but whenever I see the term right here, high brass, on factory shells, it's kind of cringy, to be honest. As we all know, high brass doesn't mean anything. Brass height does not matter in a modern shell. This could be entirely plastic and it would function and reload the same as the high brass. But I mean, the box overall does look really nice. Great combination of colors. We have red, black, silver, white, gray. Yeah, the box does look pretty cool. Better design than the previous Super X line. But once again, 28 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 1205 FPS, 1 ounce, 7.5 shot, and these are made in USA, and down there we just have a bunch of warnings. Who wants to read that? Am I right? I feel like I've said that a lot lately. But more warnings on the left side of the box. Upland and small game, Super X. The back of the box is our interesting stuff. I think this is the 3/4 ounce version of this shell. I wouldn't imagine they're using a regular Target style wad in the 1 ounce. I'd imagine this shell has a full length wad in it. Don't know. But some info about Super X, which was originally a Western range of shells, not Winchester, but Western and Winchester are kind of under the same brand now, if you want to look at it that way. But yeah, rabbits 5, 6, 7.5, doves 6, 7.5, 8, quail 6, 7.5, and 8. You guys ever wonder to yourselves why we don't have 7 shot very commonly here in the States? That's always been a bit weird to me. I'd like to see some 7 shot. But the right side of the box is just more warnings. Nothing interesting there. Bottom of the box is the same as the top. There you go. Now moving on to the shell. These do have a little bit of a taper on them, not much. And the top of the shell itself is kind of in a crown shape. The crimp is somewhat shallow, but I'd imagine this shell is quite full. Yeah, there is a little pinhole in the middle of it, but it doesn't matter. This is obviously sort of a field game upland load. Not something you'd use for waterfowl or dragging through any waters, I wouldn't imagine. So it doesn't really matter. And it's small enough to where not even a number 9 pellet would fall out of this. But overall, I mean, I guess it looks okay. I'd like to not see the castling going on, but it is what it is. Can't really be helped with a shell like this, I wouldn't imagine. But it does have the ever so coveted high brass. You absolutely need that, or you can't take any game at all. Winchester 209, USA 28 gauge. I find it interesting that these are not stamped Winchester. If you guys didn't know, this is the exact same thing as a AA HS Hall. No difference. Now the stamping on it is mostly wore off. You can see it would say Super X right here. 2 3/4 inch is still visible, but the rest of it is pretty much gone. These are just, you know, ink stamped, and you can actually just rub that off with your finger. See, it's pretty much gone. The original AA compression form shells, they were permanently stamped. You cannot get those to go away. But these, my thumbnail's taking it off. Snooze and drink combo today is actually a discontinued one. It's General Mac Myra, which is obviously Mac Myra whiskey flavor. It's really good. I wish it wasn't discontinued. And Rockstar Original Sugar Free, my favorite energy drink. It's empty, sadly. I just finished it. Anyway, let's crack this shell open and see how it's put together. I would imagine it does have a full-length wad, though. So for a payload on this, we don't quite have a full ounce. We have 0.982, which is very, very close anyway. I'm sure that's within, you know, variation of one drop, shot drop to the next. Again, these are done on machines. Machines can't be as precise as doing it by hand. You guys know how it goes. But anyway, we do have really nice looking shot in there. Let's take a better look at it. And like usual, Winchester is actually very good at giving us some really good shot. All of this is the same size. I see no deformities, no malformed pellets, no pinholes in it. Nice and shiny. And this is high antimony shot. It looks really nice. And for a charge, we have 20 even. The wind caught it right there. But yeah, 20 even of a ball powder that looks exactly like LS. However, it is not that powder. That is way too high of a charge. With that powder, 14 is on the upper limit for a 3/4 ounce load. This being a 1 ounce, and 20, nah, it's not LS. Wish I could say the powder, but I can't. The wad is a full-length wad, just like I predicted. And yeah, that's quite tall. Low cushion section. You guys can see the top of it was actually crimped a little bit. The crimp of the shell caught the top of the wad. But overall, I mean, it's not in horrible shape. I did kind of mangle it right there with the pliers when I was pulling it out, but I mean, it's a pretty cool looking wad. It is silver. I like the color. Full length with a cushion is always nice to see. I don't think this is a non-tox wad. You guys can see right there the petals are pretty thin. I don't think it will hold up to steel, let alone TSS. But overall, that is a pretty good wad design right there. Here it is compared to the HV28 wad, which is also for 1 ounce or 7/8 ounce loads. You can do either with it. But you can see Winchester's is just a little bit taller. The cushion section on the HV28 is a little bit lower. It might be 1 millimeter lower than the Winchester wad. But the Winchester, I will admit, does have a better cushion. It's a little bit taller. And here's a better view of the height difference. Again, the Winchester is just a little bit taller. Moving on to the hull. This is a AA HS hull. And if you guys didn't know, these are straight wall. The 410 and 28 gauge HS hulls are not tapered. They are straight wall. They just have a little bit thicker hull walls. So now that we've seen all the components, let's put this back together and see if I can make it look presentable. I'm not so sure. That was a bit of a shallow crimp, and the hull was kind of castled on top. The crimp was. I don't think I can make it look nice, but we'll try. Well, here it is put back together. We do still have some castling going on top of the shell. I guess that really can't be helped. Whenever I was giving it the pre-crimp, I did accidentally crush it a little bit. These HS hulls are kind of soft and they're very, very easy to crush. So that one will be single shot only. But there it is, guys, a breakdown on Winchester Super X 28 gauge 1 ounce 7.5 shot at 1205 FPS. I hope you enjoyed it. I kind of like these myself. I know a lot of people hate them. The 28 gauge community is 50-50 on whether anything is better than 3/4 ounce. Some people, it's either 3/4 ounce or absolutely nothing. It might as well not exist to them. It's a sin. Anyway, I guess we'll end this one here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.